Hey everyone and welcome. In this video we look at the words of the cranky git and fish-faced sturgeon and her comments about lurgy and the SNP's response. Now it's in the Express and it's titled "Sturgeon Faces Backlash Over Ridiculous Lurgy Plan to Shut the Border with England." Yep, you heard it right. She wants to shut the border with England. Well, there's no surprise there, is there? No, but let me say this, you poisonous little twit. You've got no power to do that, have you? So your words are irrelevant. But let's just say, she's stupid enough to manage it while oil prices are in the minus, and the fact most of the food they eat comes through here makes you a moron, doesn't it? That'll cause irreparable damage to your country and people, in my opinion. But what do you think, guys? On top of that, if you desert our union, you will never, in my opinion, be allowed to return. The English will never forget. Now this woman's record is worse than ours, and she's got the cheek to say that she wants to break away from us. She promised to have 10,000 tests done by the end of April for Scotland alone. They've had to change that to 3,500 because they were nowhere near, and they still failed to hit that. Only managed less than 2,000 capacity. Now capacity means they're able to do it, but they've not done yet. Do you really want this woman to be governing you, Scotland? I mean, it's obvious that this idiot has got two brain cells and they're constantly fighting each other over space. But let's read. A Conservative MP has lashed out at Nicola Sturgeon's bizarre lurgy plan. David Mundell, the Conservative MP for Dumfriesshire, Clydesdale and Tweedale, was enraged by reports Miss Sturgeon is planning to shut Scotland's border to England. Well, let me say this as well, Sturgeon. If you do that, you'd have to build a wall. If you build a wall, you're paying for it and you'll never get it taken down again. You'll never be part of the union again, in my opinion. I will actively campaign to stop you becoming part of the union again if you leave us in our hour of need. We would never do that to you. The former Secretary of State for Scotland tweeted, "This is ridiculous talk. We are one united kingdom. There is no border between Scotland and the rest of the United Kingdom." Yep, and it was voted that way by the Scottish people, was it not? They didn't want to leave the UK. They just didn't want Brexit. Totally different subject that's been lumped together in one pot just so that this little cretin can get her long wish of hating England from afar. At this point, should we just kick them out anyway, whether they want to leave or not? Only joking, Scottish people. I know there's enough of you there to not want to leave, but I can honestly say you need to get rid of this woman. She's not going to do you any favours. The proposed plan from the Scottish government sparked outrage on Twitter. Yeah, I bet it did, with some Britons questioning the First Minister's decision. One Briton tweeted, we read it, "We are the UK. We are united. In times like this, we need to stick together, not separate. There was a vote and Scots decided to stay in the UK for a reason." Yep, that's exactly right. You did vote to stay in, and I appreciate it. I am a unionist. I don't like having to slam parts of the union, but when they're this idiotic, I don't see any other option. Plus, it's always worth a laugh, isn't it? Another said they had the chance to vote for independence and they stayed part of the United Kingdom. However, supporters of the First Minister attacked David Mundell himself. Oh, I bet they did. One Scot tweeted, "The reason for you being replaced as Secretary for State of Scotland was not because they removed the border. It was because you were not very good at it and probably for saying job-denying stuff like this." This is from a Scot telling another Scot that they weren't very good at politics when they've got Sturgeon, the ankle-biting mouthpiece, trying to force them into a position that you cannot win from. Honestly, guys, think about your economics, just the economic side of this. If you leave at the moment with the EU crumbling, you're going to be left on your own, solo. I really think that would be an unwise idea. But what say you? However, another said, "One United Kingdom, try passing a Scottish banknote south of the border. Of course there's a border, and any responsible politician, if there is a health threat to Scotland, would support any measure taken by the government to protect the health of its people." Okay, first off, if you didn't have Scottish banknotes, if you were using British banknotes, you would be able to use your monopoly money down here, would you not? Because it would be the same currency. Sorry, but that's true. That was a joke, by the way, Scottish people. Scottish money is legal tender. You can spend it anywhere you want down here. That is an absolute lie. That just tells me that the person that sent that tweet either just doesn't know their arse from their elbow or has just never been to England. I won't say anything else about that. It was alright for you to not want us to close our borders because of Brexit, but now you want to close your borders because of a health scare. You not see the hypocrisy there, do you not? Because I do. A third of Furious Scott tweeted, there is a border, it's clearly shown in maps. We even have signs. We just aren't allowed to shut them to protect our citizens. If you shut them, you'll never open them again. Just think about that one first. I'll shut it in a minute to save one Scottish life, whereas you don't care as long as we die British. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm surprised these sort of people can even get out of bed in the morning. Living in a world where everything defeats you. Doesn't sound like a pleasant world to me. Where's all the optimism? Where's all of the British spirit, Scotland? It comes... I think sturgeons sucked it all out of them. Like a fish, like a guppy. It comes after Nicola Sturgeon was quizzed in a TV interview by BBC Andrews Ma on whether she had the power to close the frontier if she needed to. Mr. Ma asked her, it does look as though Scotland might exit the lockdown in a slightly different way with different regulations or rules than England. Have you noticed how the media are pushing for the UK to be disbanded? Has anyone noticed? This is all of our media are doing this now. All of them. They want us to be gone. I think we need to return the favour. What say you? In those circumstances, I know that you like questions about borders. Do you have the power to close the border if you need to? Nope, she doesn't. You know she doesn't. She knows she doesn't. So why bother questioning it? Other than you want the public to push for it, don't you, Ma? More anti-England this, isn't it? It's just more anti-England from the establishment and the press. I'm starting to be very, very sickened by it, to be honest. Miss Surgeon replied, I don't have the power to close borders. Exactly, you don't. So stop flapping your lips about closing borders when you don't have the power to do it, you silly woman. But these are discussions, of course, we want to continue to have with the UK government, and they'll continue to say, no. And on this question of will Scotland do things differently, not for the sake of it, we won't. If you do, you will regret it, Scottish people. The SNP won't regret it. They'll be getting paid nicely for breaking up the UK by the EU, won't they? Because we know they're already trying to do that. Do we not suspect that that's what's happening anyway? I'm Plaid Cymru. Yeah, I'm talking to you too. Now that would mean only if the evidence and our judgment tells us that it is necessary. You don't have any rights to do it, but if your judgment is better than the government of the union you're part of. So what gives you the right to think that you have more power than anybody else? Sturgeon, just asking. She doesn't have any power whatsoever. She's a gobshite. She's, you know, like when you blow a balloon up and then you squeeze the ends and it goes, ee! That's what her voice and her words are like to me. It's just like, oh my God. It's like them Furby dolls, innit? Remember the Furbies that used to speak to each other and stuff, and they didn't actually say any words that made sense. They just kept saying stuff. That's what she's like. Maybe I should. That's what. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to call her Furby from now on. Furby. So whenever I mention Furby, I mean sturgeon. Furby sturgeon. But the virus doesn't respect. Oh, now that would mean if it is an if, and I'm not saying that we're likely to get into this territory. If the UK government took decisions that I thought were premature in terms of coming out of the lockdown, then clearly I would want to make sure that Scotland did what I judged was the best to protect the population. Have you heard that, Scotland? She's basically saying there, even though you voted to stay in the union, she does not care, and you voted this woman in. Shame on you. But the virus doesn't respect borders or boundaries, and people travel freely across different parts of the UK and around the world, and you wanted that to continue, Sturgeon. Don't lie. You wanted free movement to continue. That's why you were campaigning so hard against Brexit, was it not? They think you've got no memory, don't they, everyone? And that's why I think it has been important, as well as for the simplicity of messages, to have as much consistency across the UK as possible, and I think that's still the starting point. But we all have to take decisions that we judge to be right. It's not political in any way, shape or form. Not political. Oh my lord, I've never heard anything more political. You have no care whatsoever about your people. You just want to continue your anti-English hatred and your thirst for independence so you can slave yourself to the EU, don't you, Sturgeon? You Furby Fraggle. Anyway, Anyway, what's my thoughts on this? Like I said earlier on, at the minute, the only income they've got really, or any prospect of a decent economy, would be the oil. But at the moment, oil is in the minus in price-wise. So that's gone at the moment. It's gone. Whether they like it or not, it's gone. You can't sell it. Can't even give it away at the minute. Most of the food that they eat in Scotland is shipped in through England. So if they put up a border between us and them, isn't what they were saying, if you have a border between two countries, you have to have a hard border. So we can force them to make a wall, obviously, and force them to pay for said wall, obviously. In regards to the actual damage that retracting from the union would do, I really suspect it would destroy them. I don't think the SNP would be around for long, but it wouldn't. As we all know, politicians are never punished for their actions. So they can do anything that they want, Scottish people, and you won't be able to punish them in the future for it. Just think about that before you rush into any decisions. In regards to whether she's got the power, no. In regards to any interviews about this woman, it seems to be that the media are trying to use the Scots as a weapon, along the same lines as the NHS, a weapon to beat the British government, the English government and the English people up with. Well, I say, sod the MSM. If Scotland, you do want to go, that's all well and good. Don't expect to ever get back. In our hour of need, we need to stay together as a union, as an amazing united kingdom. And if you leave us in this hour of need, we will never forget it. We won't. I'm sorry, but we won't. But what say you, everyone? Did you enjoy the story? Do you think that Scotland would be ridiculous if they tried? Do you think sturgeon would even attempt it? Because it's dangerous, that. It's very dangerous in my opinion. But let me know. Thank you everyone that stopped by. I appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell icon, share it out. Helps me improve the channel. And I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe, everyone.